On to the second semi-final then in the Cricket World Cup, and it's on Thursday at Edgbaston, Australia against England. And the winners will be facing New Zealand at Lords on Sunday. So, well, first of all, before this game, your thoughts on that semi-final, Kev, which, it was completed over the course of 2 days eventually at Old Trafford, and a real shocker, although you did say whoever bats first would win, so you got that one right.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't fancy the chasing side there, I have to admit. I didn't expect India to struggle as much as they did with the bat, actually. But credit to New Zealand new ball bowlers. They were brilliant when they put the ball in the right areas. And actually credit to Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor. Anyone who follows me on Twitter will see that I was critical of their batting performance when it happened. But actually, hands up, I got that completely wrong. They paced it brilliantly. They got to what they thought was a winning score, and it was. So full credit to them for that, because it takes a lot of doing that. We're about to preview two sides who can't do that. So we should give credit to New Zealand for being able to.
Yeah, it didn't really look enough, did it? On that first day, it must be said. Managed to slug the way up to near enough 250, and that proved to be the difference, didn't it? And a great new ball spell for him. So, New Zealand are in the final, and with all due respect, I'm sure both Australia and England would much rather that they are in that final instead of India. So, a massive chance here for either of these two old rivals. And for those who listen to our outright podcast will know that you backed Australia to win the World Cup outright on each way terms, was it?
So far ago, I can't even remember. No, I think we're on straight win, mate.
Was it straight? I have to look back. Anyway, if they were to get to the final here, you'd certainly have a chance. Well, if you wanted to lay off or anything, because they would be, probably like 1 to 2 favourites in that final against New Zealand, no doubt. So, there's plenty at stake here for us in a lot of different ways. You don't really need to bet on the match outcome, but who do you think is going to win this game, Kev? England are actually the favourites with the bookmakers, but it was Australia who won the group game between the two.
Impossible to say again, Steve, isn't it? Again, you've got to fancy the side that's going to bat first. Runs on the board are massive, massive, massive in this game. England have shown frailty for chasing, not throughout the tournament, because I still think they batted okay against Pakistan, but the game was gone by then. But certainly against Sri Lanka and Australia, they chased horrendously. Australia didn't exactly convince in chasing against South Africa on Saturday, did they? So you got to think this is a massive toss to win the toss, bat first. I don't care if there was rain around or clouds up ahead. You've got to bat first if you're going to win this game, I think. We've got a classic debate, but that punters have to go through whatever sport you bet on throughout any course of time that you bet. Here, Steve, you've got head-to-head record against current form. Head-to-head or historical records, Australia have not won on this ground since 2001 in any form of cricket. England have won their last 10 at Edgbaston. So do you go with history, in which case you're with England, or do you go with current form, in which case you're most certainly with Australia? It's a tricky one to call. That's if you're betting on the match outcome before it starts. I'll announce a little offer in a minute, actually, for anyone that looks on my website. You can get enhanced prices if you are betting on the match outcome. But me personally, I can't bet before the toss because I just think it's massive.
Yeah, what's changed in this World Cup? Because going into the World Cup, it was about you've got to be chasing to win. And now it's flipped on its head, hasn't it? I mean, what's going on there? Is it the pressure?
Very much the pressure, yeah. The pressure of the situation, the what's the word I'm looking for? Just the length of time that we're into the summer now. I mean, the English domestic season started in the first week of April. Here we are in the middle of July. There's a hell of a lot of cricket being played already this summer. England county teams have already played a 50-over competition. Most counties are playing their 9th county championship game this week. They've all had pre-season friendlies, second 11 games, warm-up games for this tournament, the games in this tournament, and we're only halfway through the summer. So if you've got a spinner in your side and you're playing in England for the remainder of the summer, rub your hands with glee because you're going to have a lot of joy.
This pitch at Edgbaston, how do you think it's going to play? Is it going to be a new wicket that you know of, or a used one? I mean, we've seen it turn, haven't we? Yeah, but also we saw a very good deck for England-India, for example.
Or did we? Did we see a good deck, or did we see a short boundary? I can't really decide. Yeah, new deck. 2 away from the pitch that was used for that England-India game. So Virat Kohli will be delighted to know that there's no short boundary here. Yeah, I mean, I expect it to play pretty well. We've been pretty complimentary of Edgbaston's wickets right throughout the tournament. Yeah, I mean, it might turn, but there's been a little bit of rain around, isn't there? Going to be some rain around all the morning of the game, so don't envisage spin playing a massive role, if I'm honest, but there'll be enough in it. I just hope it's a ball where the ball comes onto the bat. I'm sick and tired of these pitches where the ball sticks in it now. Sorry, groundsman, but you've no excuse. You should be playing these games on fresh wickets, on good wickets, particularly knockout games. I wasn't impressed with that pitch at Old Trafford. Hopefully, yeah, Edgbaston have learned and given us a proper pitch to play a proper game of cricket on.
But you're not expecting that many runs here, are you? Because one of your bets is under 582 runs. So you're not. I mean, to be fair, that's a pretty high line, isn't it? So there still could be quite a lot of runs scored, really. And you still win the bet. But overall, you're not expecting a ridiculously high totals.
This is the semi-final, Steve. It's all about scoring one more run than the opposition. Said it for that India game, and I'll say it again. You know, the time for looking flashy is out the window now. You know, earlier on in the tournament, there were talk of scores of 400, 450. Who would make the first 500? Well, that's nonsense now. One more run than what they get. That's all you need. Let's say the chasing side does win this game and we go against the trends. In order for us to lose this match, the first innings has to be 291. That's a hell of a lot of runs in a semi-final. I mean, think back 20 years when these pitches were genuinely good throughout the World Cup. South Africa and Australia tied here with 213 apiece. Both good batting lineups. Okay, not necessarily with the power and everything of the modern game, but it just kind of shows that what a semi-final can do, because obviously South Africa choked in that game. I'll leave others to decide if India choked on Tuesday or not. I mean, that's of no interest to me whatsoever, but it's just a hell of a lot of runs, and that's assuming the chasing side wins, which, well, recent trend in this tournament suggests they're not going to, don't they? So, you know, let's say team batting first wins. If they score 300, the team chasing still got to score 282. I'm just not seeing it. I mean, you've got to bear in mind, there's no batting for net run rate or any of that bollocks here like New Zealand did against against England last week, and a couple of other sides have done just to bump the runs. I mean, we've been fortunate with Bangladesh that they've batted out their overs a couple of times and gone over their runs line. None of that now. You're not batting for your net run rate. You're either winning or you're losing. You may as well lose by 150 than lose by 1. So the line just looked way too high to me. I don't think the first innings will be 291 anyway. But even if it is, the size of the task, the daunting scoreboard pressure, I just don't see both sides contributing to 582.5 runs. Not with these bowling attacks. I just don't see it.
But one man you think is going to go well here is Aaron Finch. Going to take his runs line over 31.5.
Do you know what? He must pray to God that he can play England every day, Aaron Finch, Steve. Sensational record against us, really, has to be said. He's made 7 of his 1500s against England. That's in ODI cricket. 450s as well. He's only batted 25 times against us. So just under half of his innings are going 50 or more. It's not just in this format that he goes big against England, is he? He's got the world record T20 score, or did have at the time, down at Southampton against England as well, 158 in 20 overs, ridiculous score. He averages 52.20 against us, and we're only looking for 32 runs here. So we're barely looking for half of an average score against us. You look at his recent form, 4 tons in his last 9 innings against England. They're all recent as well. 153 against Sri Lanka in this tournament. One of those 4 tons was at Lord's in the first game the group game between these two, where he scored dead on 100. He's got 3 other 50s in the tournament. I mean, whichever way you look at this, Aaron Finch is in good form and should cover this line. And the fact that he's Australia's captain, you think he's going to dig in, battle away, and not give his wicket away. I know he went out for 3 on Saturday, but that was to Imran Tahir, wasn't it? To a ball that's stuck in the pitch. Where he's not going to be facing the spin first up here, so we don't need to worry about that. The line looks low when you look at the numbers. It really does.
Yeah, why do you think it is so? Is it what do we have that, or what don't we have that other teams give him trouble with, or does he just kind of raise it for the old enemy, maybe?
Well, I don't think he necessarily gets into trouble against any side, does he? He's got a damn good record. Whoever he plays against, I mean, obviously he's got a weakness against spin. Find me an opening batsman who hasn't, but no, I mean he's got a good record, but it's his record in England, isn't it? That's all the more appealing. I mean, fair play to him. He's come over for some county stints and he's learned the lessons and certainly puts it into action.
Now, talking of the Australian batsman, you've got a top bat bet here, which I must say looks a really juicy price. And that's on the wicketkeeper Carey at 14-1. Now, I was messaging you the other day when he had that good knock against South Africa. I'm like, why the fucking hell is he down at number 7? I mean, Peter Handscomb's going to play this game, isn't he? So he will probably stay at 7. But if he's given the opportunity, and wickets have got to fall, then this looks a really big price, doesn't it?
Does look a really big price, yep. There is talk actually that he's going to bat 5 here. There's talk that Glenn Maxwell's getting dropped. Huge call if that's made, I have to say. We just saw with Martin Guptill, didn't we, that you may as well play someone on their fielding, Ravi Jadeja as well. I mean, that Guptill run out of Dhoni, that won the game. No, there's no doubt about that. So, if England don't see Maxwell on the team sheet, happy days, because not only can he take a game away from England with the bat, regardless of how indifferently he does it, he's got that potential. He can bowl some off spin if there is a little bit of turning wicket, and he's a demon fielder. Ain't no better in the field in this tournament, that's for sure. So I mean, if he is dropped and Kerry goes up to 5, you're on one shot who's batting third wicket down. Like you say, Peter Handscomb's going to be batting above him in his first World Cup game. Got to be nervous. Smith and Warner are going to get all sorts from the crowd. So there's a genuine chance of the top score still within reach when Carey comes in at 5. But even if he comes in at 7, it's Maxwell and Stoinis that are above him at 5 and 6. Neither of them are really going to bat for a long time. They'll be in for a good time rather than a long time. And it'll be left for Carey to mop up the pieces again. I mean, for someone who's batted at 7 throughout this tournament, Steve, to have a run so far in the tournament of did not bat, 45, 55 not out, 24, 11 not out, 38 not out against England, 71 and 85. He's doing an awful lot of batting. So if he does go up to 5, he's going to be doing even more batting. The price is massive. He hasn't got a great record against England. Let's not gloss it up. He's only played against us 4 times. 27, 6, 44 and 38. So he's got 3 starts there. It's not like he's out cheaply all the time. If the top score's within reach, we're on at a price, aren't we? And if it's not, chances are Australia have won. So it's happy days all round anyway.
14-1. Big price, I'd say, on Carey. The top score, if things go his way. One final bet for you in this game, and it's a performance of an England player. Now, I've had some issues in this tournament going with guys on their playing at the home ground. Let's hope this one doesn't go skew whiff. But Chris Wokes, his performance line 36.5. But it does look low, doesn't it?
To be fair, though, a lot of the ones that you've taken don't play for their home team very often, do they? Unlike Chris Wokes, who's played for Warwickshire quite a bit, hasn't he? Whether it's because he's been on the fringe of the England setup or because he's been coming back from injury. He Edgbaston's not an estranged home to him. It's still pretty in his memories. 36.5 performance here. I mean, I think we can call him a 3D cricketer now, can't we? Some of the catches he's taken in this tournament merit that. So he's opening the bowling. He's probably going to come back for a spell, around the 30th over, and he's going to bowl at the death. So happy days there. In all the times that the cheap wickets fall, he's going to be bowling. But he's a pretty decent batsman in his own right now, isn't he? He's actually batted 3 in this tournament. He's scored 40 against West Indies. Obviously, he's not going to do that here. But he did score 26 down at Lords against Australia in a losing effort. Took 2 wickets in that game. Took a catch as well. Flying catch. Memories, I can't remember who it was who he caught. But either way, his performance totaled into the 70s in that game. Double what we want here. He's got a pretty decent record, actually, with the bat against Australia. His last 4 innings, 39 not out, 53 not out, 78 and 26. That's really good scoring. His career best bowling figures, 6 for 45, came against Australia. 4 for 40 he's got against them as well. He's got 3 other 2-wicket hauls. This is all in 15 innings with the ball. So everything suggests that he can play against Australia. He doesn't freeze against Australia. He took 2 for 58 against India on this ground. Again, you look at all the numbers and you have to take the over here. 37 points is all you're looking for here.
It's not a lot.
A wicket, a catch, and 7 runs. That's all you're looking for. That's an average day at the office for Chris Wokes. Good day with anything else, and he covers this by miles.
So, 4 bets for the game. And, it's going to be a really intriguing affair. Could get really close. Do you think the winner of this match will win the World Cup?
Australia will, if it's Australia. I think Australia are unbeatable at Lords. England, I would suggest the toss is more of an importance for England. I wouldn't want to be playing Australia and Stark and Berendorf and that slope and overhead conditions. Sod that.
Right. We'll be back to preview the final, whoever it's between. We know New Zealand are in it, but
just before I leave, Steve, I should just mention that offer that I said. If you haven't got an 888 Sport account, sign up for one using the link that's in my preview to this match on my website. You can get 8-1 on England to win or 11-1 on Australia to win. If you're betting on the match outcome and you need an account there, why not open one before this game starts and get a juicy price? You can always lay it off somewhere else if you want to as well. Risk-free, that way. But if you haven't got an account, open one up and enjoy this match with a juicy price.
Okay, well, get on there if you haven't got one already. So, we look forward to the final and we'll see you for that one, Kev.
Yep, can't wait, mate. All the best.